Now, I do give a warning because these are not my stories. These are a person from Wattpad, and I don't remember the name, but I will probably write it in the description or title of this video. So hopefully you guys enjoy, and let's get on. Oh, and also, I suck at reading, so sorry if I mess up a bit, but bye! Let the story begin. A long time ago, the peaceful tribe of the Kitsune lived in the land of fishing, till the greedy humans came. They raided the land and killed those who stood on their path. We had no choice but to flee into the forest, only for the humans to trap most of our people in and set the woods ablaze. We were pushed into our homes now, the deep forests, a place the humans do not dare wander in. Till this day, little ones, just outside the forest stands, and where the tall castle of the human king stands. They are cruel and malicious, so do not wander outside the forest, or you'll never return again. The great kingdom of fishing, ruled by the great and fierce king, Todoroki. No, 500 years ago, this land was pledged with awful demons. They call themselves the Kitsune. Savage creatures they are. Thankfully, King Cyrus, your father's great-great-grandfather, chased the creatures away. The tutor rambled on. Shoto was too distracted as he drew a cruel drawing of his father. He would care less of his studies than his father. Because of his father, he was unable to spend time with his siblings, trying to mold him into the perfect heir. His older brother even vanished one day. The second oldest became captain of the guard. His sister left the castle to travel the world, leaving Shoto alone with his father. His mother passed away when he was still young. As the hours passed, Shoto finally had enough. I'm done for today. We can continue tomorrow, Shoto said simply as he left the studies. He wandered the halls of the castle, but eventually stopped on a nearby balcony. It looked over the dark forest, the same forest that Toya disappeared in. There were times Shoto wished it was him who vanished into those woods. His father was a cruel man. Shoto was never able to make his own decisions. His father had control of every aspect in his life. While Shoto studied and slaved away, his father would be in his chambers with his concubines. Eventually, Shoto wandered into the large gardens of the castle, the dark forest just outside its perimeters. His mind was set on his future marriage. Princess Momo of the kingdom Eclair. He would admit she is beautiful, but he is aware of her feelings for a certain guard in her courts. The next summer, they will be wed. Neither Shoto nor Momo get a say in the matter. As he was about to turn back, he heard a small kitten cry. He turned to see a very odd-looking kitten. Things just at the edge of the forest. Shoto slowly tried to approach the strange creature, but it quickly ran back into the forest. Without even thinking, Shoto quickly chased after the creature into the forest, the trees and roots closing behind him. Shoto chased after the small creature till he came across a gigantuous old oak tree, a large rock resting in its shades. As the creature climbed on top of the stone, I don't know why they call it the creatures of forest. Maybe because I've never seen it before. I do know Midori is an explorer, or a wannabe explorer. He's always looking for something new, discovery. Maybe I just wanted to examine this creature. Fluffykins! Shouted a female voice. From behind the rock, a beautiful girl with shiny hair and lovely eye-color eyes appeared behind the creature. Fluffykins jumped into the girl's arms and cuddled up to her affectionately. As I continued to stare, I noticed her fox-like ears and her 5 fox tails. A kitsune! A human! What are you doing here? She shouted in anger and fear. I quickly turned and ran as I followed the path, but nothing looking familiar. I can't find my way out. I was lost. As I ran, I tripped and tumbled down a hill. I felt myself fall off a ledge, only for something to grab my leg. I looked up to see the same kitsune girl from before. She quickly helped me up and onto safe ground. Apparently, I almost fell into a hole that leads to a complete system of caves, home of many giant serpent creatures. You saved me, I asked her as I tried to gain more breath. Of course. If the king's heir went missing in the forest, or worse, dead, that would start another conflict. So yes, follow me, she interrupted. It didn't take long for her to show me the way back to the castle. As I left the forest, I quickly turned to ask her, "What is your name, if I may ask?" I asked her, but she already disappeared into the forest. A few months passed, and the mysterious kitsune girl consumes Prince Shoto's mind. During lessons, he wouldn't pay attention. He was too busy sketching her. He could be found staring endlessly into the dark forest instead of practicing. Eventually, he managed to work up the courage to go back into the forest. He easily found his way to the old oak tree and sat on the top of the same rock. A few minutes went by, and Shoto suddenly felt something rubbing up against him. It was Fluffykins. "Oh, it's you. Hello," Shoto greeted as he scratched behind the creature's ear. Fluffykins jumped down from the rock and trots away a bit, not before looking back at Prince Shoto. He quickly followed the creature till he came across a village of sorts, bridge connecting from one tree to tree. Homes approached to be made inside and around the trees. "Who goes there? Humans are not welcomed in these parts of the forest," said a familiar voice. Shoto turned to meet a familiar eye-colored eyed kitsune. It didn't take her long to recognize who it was. "Oh, it's you again. Why are you back here?" she asked, slightly annoyed. Fluffykins led me here," he blurted out. She sighs as he picks her mischievous pet. Shoto could help but stare at her. The sun kissed her skin-colored smooth skin. "I'm Prince Shoto," he said with a bow. "And who are you?" "I am YNLN. It's a pleasure to meet you," YN said with a small smile. And like that, a friendship bloomed that day in the forest. Even whenever Shoto had the time or was able to sneak out of the castle, he would head straight for the forest. Someday Shoto would explain human cultures and compare their differences. Other days, YN would show him many beautiful places within the woods. This went on for months on end. Today, the two were exploring many aspects of the forest. The first hurdle was climbing a rock ledge. "Wait, YN," Shoto huffed as he pulled himself up. "Can you slow down?" "I'm afraid I cannot. You better hurry up, Princey, or you'll be left behind, Wayan answered as she climbed with ease. I hate you, and stop calling me that, Shoto shouted in frustration. I love you too, and why don't you come up here and make me? Wayan chuckled as she continued to climb. Did I ever tell you how evil you are? He muttered in his breast. Eventually, they made their way to a powerful waterfall. Water break, Shoto, Wayan said as she dipped her feet into the water. Shoto was a sweating mess, rushing over to the pond and drank to his heart's content. Is this place you wanted to show me? Are we close? Shoto asked. Almost there, she said as she started to lead again. They continued their journey as they slowly made their way out of the forest and up the mountain side. Soon they reached a clear path on the mountain. We're getting close, Shoto, Wayan called back to him as they followed the path. Eventually, they came a beautiful sight. This is beautiful, Shoto said in awe. Was the journey worth it? Wayan asked as she hugged him from behind. Yes, it was, Shoto said with a smile. They rested back at the old oak, feasting on some cooked rabbit Wayan hunted down. As they sat in comfortable silence, Shoto spoke up. Wayan, 2 months from now, I will have to get married to Princess Momo, but I don't share the same feelings with you than I do with her, he said, placing his lunch down on the leaf plate. I love you, Wayan. You're so wild and strong, yet kind in your own way, and I don't want to be bond to Princess Momo. Yin smiled softly as she leaned over and kissed him on his cheek. I love you too, but what about Momo? You can't leave her at the altar now, can you? Wayan pointed out as she continued to eat. At that, Shoto's hopes were silently dashed. Momo is in love with someone else, not of royalty blood. I wish we could both be happy. Unless, Wayan suggested, I know husband and wife, our new king and queen, King Shoto Todoroki and Queen Momoyaruzu, the head priestess announced. They newlyweds waved to the crowd below, all cheering and praising the new rulers. That party was large and grand. It lasted into the night. The couple managed to sneak out back and made their way to the stable. There waiting for them was Ida, the knight, and the real Princess Yaomozu. Their wagon was set and ready to go. Thank you for everything, Shoto, she thanked as she held Ida's hand. It is our pleasure, Princess, Wayan said with a bow as she dropped the disguise. Oh, before you go, wear this necklace. There's magic enchanted and will change your appearance. No one will ever recognize you. Ida and Momo placed the necklace around their necks as they began to change. Momo shrank a bit, her black hair turning into a short brown bob cut, her dark eyes becoming light brown and her cheeks turned slightly pink. Ida shrunk a bit as well. His hair turned wild and green. His blue eyes also became green. And freckles adored his cheeks. The disguised couple gave them one last thanks as they rode off into the night, leaving Shoto and Wayan behind. I'm ready to call it a night. How about you, dear husband? Wayan asked as she hugged his arm. How about we retreat to my chambers, lovely wife of mine? He asked as he pulled her into a passionate kiss. The end.